Folks, we're live from Gander, the 2025 Municipal Symposium, and hey, we're talking communities today with folks from right across the province. In this hour, you'll hear about some issues that folks are facing, and also going to ask folks what they want to brag about when it comes to their communities. So buckle up, we got 55 minutes of community content for you. Me and the show have been coming here for 4 years. It's a priority for the show. Every year I feel is really important to talk to folks across the province. This year, though, I feel it's kind of doubly especially important. Can you tell me why?
Oh, absolutely, and it's interesting that you started 4 years ago, because the real importance of this year is we're in a municipal election year. Municipal elections will be the third of the government elections that we see. We just went through a federal election. We're expecting a provincial election, has to be before October. Yeah. And then municipal elections are bumped a little bit later this year to October 2nd. So we often see in Newfoundland and Labrador low voter turnout, yeah. But also a lot of acclamations and vacant seats. So we have seen over the last couple of elections, about 70% of our municipal councils have what we refer to as weak elections. So that means there's acclaimed seats on those councils or vacant seats after the elections. And from what we're hearing in the sector right now about incumbents choosing not to run again, but also the fact that we're likely to be the third out of the three elections. We're anticipating a lot of voter fatigue, but also fatigue in potential candidates, potential volunteers. So we want to really have an amplified conversation around running for council, what you can do when you're on your town councils, and that's part of the work that we're kicking off at Symposium this weekend.
The weakness of it stands out, and when you think of the importance of municipal leaders in towns across Newfoundland and Labrador having people acclaimed or empty spots as we try to build communities and look to 2, 5, 10, 20 years into the future without people to do it, that doesn't seem like a recipe for success.
No, certainly not. And we know we have the oldest and fastest aging demographics in the country. Mm-hmm. So part of it is we're just seeing, councillors and mayors who have served for a long time and paid their dues. But there's not necessarily someone coming up behind them. So, yeah. For anyone who's listening, who's out in a small town and wants to do a lot of work for your community and do some good for your community, I'd really encourage you to run. But that is a challenge. It's the fatigue there with multiple elections, but also just the fact people are aging out, yeah. Just naturally. And there's not necessarily that succession line in place due to our demographics and our population. So there's a lot of work to be done by organizations like ours to encourage people to come forward.
Hi, how you doing? Introduce yourself for Newfoundland and Labrador.
Hi, how are you? I'm Deanna Hutchings. I'm the mayor of Cowhead.
Mayor Hutchings.
Yes.
How's Cowhead?
Great. So I wanted to come today and give a little plug. We're in rearing up for the tourism season. Mm-hmm. So the Grossmore Theatre Festival will be opening soon, and our campgrounds at Shallow Bay in Grossmore is soon be opening as well. We have a lobster festival that'll be happening the end of June, so that starts June 27th until Canada Day. It's been a tradition in our community since the 80s, so it's a long-standing festival, so I love to promote that anywhere I go. Great lobster dinners, outdoor music, great time, so if you're in the area, drop by. As well as we have a fall fest that happens in late September 18th. And the theater is having it's a second time they're having a block party, August 11th. So, and that's a great time. Lots of people come, all the locals and tourists, and they have games, food, all kinds of things. So if you're around or anyone's around, be sure to drop by and yeah.
What's it like being mayor of Cowhead? Do you like it? You seem to like it.
I do like it. Yeah, I quite enjoy it. It's challenging. I was trying to think of some pressing issues, and I was like, I don't really know where to start. There's a long list.
Yeah. Well, what are the on the top of that list? What are a couple of the things that you're looking at?
Well, finances is always, and it's expenses. Small communities, you don't have the money that you need. Aging infrastructure, aging population, they're all big concerns. But yeah, there's quite the list. It's a slow going, but we're getting there. We're making steps in the right direction. So.
What's the rough population of Cowhead, by the way?
Around 400,
Around
just
400,
a little over 400, so not very many.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of those are seniors, which, they're on a fixed income, so, we're very mindful of our taxes, and we don't want to overtax anyone, obviously, but especially our seniors, yeah.
So looking down the road, right, 5, 10, 20 years, how do you have conversations about trying to keep that town of 400 where it's at, and to keep it healthy and thriving, and to be there for these tourism season great things that you have every single year? What's the conversation like for the future for Cowhead?
Well, I think a part of one thing that we're doing, we're working together regionally. We have a group, it's called Grossmore Tourism Regional Innovative Partnership, so
cool.
GM Trip for short, and that's kind of empowering us to do more together. So we are trying to work on ways to share services, share expenses, promote one another, tackle some economic growth. Housing is a big concern, so we're going to look at ways to address that. Emergency services, regional perspectives, those are ways that we're trying to address the future issues.
All right.
Yeah.
The last question before I let you go, and you probably can't say it because you're mayor, but what is your favorite part of Cowhead? You gave us a list in the beginning, but I want tell me your favorite moment each summer as mayor.
Well, I love to see the people coming. Our community comes alive, but if I had to choose, it's really hard to choose. There's two that would, my peace comes from the beach. Yeah. We have a beautiful, long, sandy white beach in Cowhead. So that's my favorite place in the world. Also, we have a great lighthouse trail, which is very tranquil as well. So I love that peacefulness that I have in my community, which is what keeps me there, I think. But I do like when the hustle and bustle starts up the tourism season, and meeting new people and hearing their stories and getting to put forth the best version of ourselves. Yeah. And the theater also does a great job of showcasing our history and our culture. So that's another way that we get to share it with a lot of people, what not just us in Cowhead or regionally, but Newfoundlanders are meant to, or hoping to portray to visitors.
Mayor Hutchings, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah,
I appreciate
you.
the chat.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking about you just enjoying tourism season and also finding some peace and quiet on that great beach in Cowhead.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Cheers. Councillor Langdon, how you doing?
I'm good, Adam. Yourself?
Good. I think I asked you this last time, but it's been over a year, or so it's been a year. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 23.
23.
Yeah,
so you're a Deer Lake councillor. Why did you want to become a councillor?
I think everyone else told me I was supposed to, so that's where we went from at the beginning. But no, I always enjoyed being involved in the community, and the opportunity presented, so we took it upon. That was almost 4 years ago now. So
what have you learned then?
Yeah. Listen, it's great to be involved in the community, and it's always good to know the kind of the operations of the community and how we work and how we can come together and liaison with the different levels of government and how much that means for communities like ours.
Yeah. What are the challenges then for Deer Lake?
Yeah, so like anybody, we're in a unique situation that we have excellent support from our provincial government with our MHA for the last 11 years has been the Premier of the province, so they've both been very supportive, Premier Ball and Premier Fury. And but like anybody, challenges when it comes to infrastructure and capacity, and we're a unique growing community, which is not many communities in Newfoundland can say that. But we had to try to keep up with that demand, which comes with the financial burden sometimes as well associated with that.
What does that mean for housing in Deer Lake?
So we actually have some great development coming up, and we have several hundred new subdivision lots coming online, hopefully within the next 5 years starting. Housing, our census have actually stayed pretty consistent for the last 20 years in terms of growth, but in terms of revenue per capita has gone up significantly. Business communities are growing, the surrounding area is growing, so we're trying to keep up with that demand as much as we can, and it's certainly being met.
with the municipal elections coming now in October, what's the talk in town in and around Deer Lake? Like, are you running again, or others? Like, what's your look as you look towards the next council? Are you seeing people stand up and be like, "Hey, I want in," or is it what I heard from Rob Nolan and hearing folks are kind of shying away from it?
Yeah, we're not particularly hearing a ton of people so far. I expect to hear more now over the summer. So last municipal election we had, there was 13 people on the ballot, including there was 11 councillors, 14 people, 11 councillors and 2 mayors at the time. So there's certainly a lot of interest. And I normally say when people get involved, there's normally an issue, but I don't believe that to be the case in Deer Lake at the time. I believe people wanted to be part of something good, which was happening in the community. But I haven't heard much yet, to be honest, from people looking to get engaged. But we expect to hear more, in terms of myself, that's undecided yet. I am hearing people around the council table who are looking to move on, and I don't believe there's any hard feelings. It's just they're, some of them have been around for 8, 12, 15 years, and it's just, there's a shelf life on everybody as well. So.
Before I let you go, brag to me about Deer Lake. What's your favorite part about your
Listen, how much time do we have left?
Yeah, you're like, I can fill the whole show.
Deer Lake's a great community, and we're doing great stuff. And like I said, we've had great support from our provincial and federal governments throughout the last number of years, and I hope that doesn't change now as the political climate certainly changing. That's no surprise, but we have done excellent work in our community, and we have an excellent council around the table that works very hard, and we have wonderful staff in our town too that truly care. So listen, we're a great community, and everybody talks about it everywhere I go, and we certainly have our struggles, but
you're pushing along. So what's a summer moment for yourself? Like in the summer, the sweet spot of a Newfoundland summer, what are you doing that you love so much in Deer Lake?
There's a beautiful 3-kilometer beach in Deer Lake that everybody brags about, and a nice fresh water. We have a nice golf course, walking trails. There's endless things to do in Deer Lake, So I encourage anybody to come out and have a look this summer as we look to encourage people to stay local as well.
Excellent. Thanks for the chat. I appreciate always catching up with you.
Thanks, and thanks for having us.
And did you eat lunch yet? Or you're going to eat lunch now?
I got on the way there now. I think it might be cold. So.
I hear it's lasagna.
Yeah, I do like lasagna, as long as it's not orange chicken.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, no, perfect. All right, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
See you out. See you, Brett. Good to see you again. How you doing?
Excellent, thanks. How are you?
How's everything in Labrador going?
Labrador's going well. Got its challenges. A little disappointing this morning when you come out for MNL and you pay a lot of money to get here, and then you open and the news, or you open your phone's blown up with interprovincial travel announced for $15 million within the province, and not including Labrador. So that's a little bit concerning for Labrador this morning, that we're not included in that interprovincial travel. I can take my tourism and I go to Quebec for $500 return, and I can't get to Newfoundland for $2,000 to come see my own province or family. So a little bit disheartening.
Labrador West, right?
Labrador West, yeah. So a little bit disheartening this morning for that. So trying to stay on the positive side of that, but we will be making noise about that for sure.
Well, then, while you got the microphone, you just made a bit of a comment on it. But like, is there consultations? Lack of why do you feel that you were left out? And like, what? Talk to me a bit more about this.
Well, we've been talking about the prices for a long time, but it's gotten worse in the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
So, more people traveling. We just had, 10 to 12 hockey teams go out, and we had to work with Hockey NL and provincial again on scheduling and all that kind of stuff that kind of left us out. If we made the championship game, we might not have been there. So that's the type of consultation we're not getting, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing now. So you got interprovincial travel of $15 million, but we've been talking about this for a long time. So if you're talking tourism, I just look at myself, come from away. I've seen the signs as I land in Gander, and I look at it and say, gee, I really wanted to come to that. Maybe that's something I should do this summer. But to pay that kind of money for a $4,000 trip to come out and see a come from away concert is not feasible for a lot of families and myself. So it costs us a lot of money, and we've been talking about it for forever, but it's gotten worse since COVID because we lost Evis Air. So we don't have the Air Canada route. They have it in Goose Bay, and we don't have it in Labrador. So we don't have a competitor, so we can't seem to get those prices lower.
Yeah.
So we've been, I know our MHA has been advocating as well to try to get some compensation. I know when
you're talking Jordan Brown, right?
Jordan Brown, yeah. So when Jordan Brown. So when COVID was over, the Quebec government had worked with Provincial Air, and they put on a rate. I think it's till 2026. So wouldn't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's still in effect. It's ramped up, I think, a little bit now in cost. But to bring their tourism and make it work, so they went to $500 return. I got subsidized by the government, so we've been bringing that to the government to help us with that, and we're not getting any leverage on it. So, not being heard or not working with provincial. We work with provincial regularly. They've been working well with us and trying to reduce a few things. They've put on some different rates. They've done some good work for Labrador West when we went one-on-one with them, but they need support out as well from the government when it comes to cost. So trying to work those three partnerships, and it seems like the government's the one that always steps back and don't help.
Right. And you learned this today, right? You're here. And you're
Learned this today, and it's really disheartening. I understand why our residents are so upset today, so they should be. It's a lot of money to give there, and we should have had that conversation. You know, we have a destination in Labrador West.
Yeah.
And in Goose Bay, you know, the Chamber of Commerce as well. As mayor, we're going to put in a support letter for the Chamber of Commerce as well to fight this, because this is unacceptable. So it's a little bit disheartening this morning, and you know, you try to stay positive because we live in a great community, we live in a great province, but Labrador wants to be part of that province when decisions are made like that.
Yeah, and you're feeling left out. Right?
Feeling left out, absolutely.
All right, so that's travel.
Travel, yep.
What else are we focusing on now in Labrador City, Lab West, Mayor Adams?
Labrador West for us right now, like everybody's got from a province-wide. Again, there's province-wide issues, housing, and as right now, both the leaders are vying for to be premier. And as I told John Hogan last week when he was in, and he said, you know, across the province you hear about all the housing issues. That's what it is. But just to be clear, in Labrador West, we have not one bedroom for a senior house. We have zero. There's housing crisis across the province, but we have zero for seniors. Not one, not two, not one housing strategy that says, okay, we'll get accessibility or we'll get, you know, age in place. We have zero, you know, and we have an aging population because people didn't leave years ago. They stayed, but their families are staying now, right? So, you know, from a town perspective, we've put in for infrastructure money. We right now have like a 32 unit on the table trying to see if we can get funding for it and where that's going to go. Of course, with elections, that slows down to see where we're to. But we have zero right now. And we you know, we're working upwards. We figure around, you know, ballpark number between, we could be 800 to 1,500 seniors right now that are over the age of probably 75. So, you know, so moving them out of Labrador, one, is quite expensive, and two, they don't want to.
No, because it's home, right? And we talk about
every time they say
place.
it, every time we get closer to an application or we do anything, it gets to the point is, you know, well, you got to get your application lower. Even the pioneer groups that were working on that. So, you know, if you look at Goose Bay, it costs them $200,000 a door, say, a unit. We can't get it below $870 in Labrador West, and we don't have developers. So being at the session this morning with the housing was refreshing because we just spoke to them separately. So we want to get them to come to Labrador City. There's lots of opportunities out there for those people to help us, and they keep saying they're free to help us. So we'll take advantage of that.
We just listened to a federal campaign where everyone was talking about building stuff.
Absolutely.
Let's
campaign.
see where that goes.
Yep, see where it goes. And make it, again, if you're going to make it interprovincial as a solution for this problem, then make it interprovincial and make sure that Labrador is included.
Yeah.
Labrador West needs to be included in that.
All right,
Sure.
Mayor Adams, before I let you go,
Sure.
brag to me. Tell me something that is amazing about your community, because I know there's a lot, but what's something either summertime you love or something that you want people to know about?
Labrador West is an amazing community. It is an amazing community. In Labrador West, like, we have less than 5% unemployment rate, so that's wonderful. But we're trying to grow that community. I am extremely excited about the MOU that's coming to Labrador West. I think that's a wonderful deal from a community perspective. And by 2031 to get the power, if you look at it, we already have 2 mines booming and going strong, and they've been going strong IOC for 70 years, and Wabash Mines for years, but now Takora took over. And we have the Cambie project resurrected that are going to bring some more money to our community.
Right.
So it's a wonderful thing. It's a terrible problem to have no housing and infrastructure to do it, and that's why we got to work together to get it done. But I'm super excited. This council is super excited about that. We think it's a wonderful opportunity. But by 2031, we need to be ready for it.
Yeah.
But what a great opportunity, and what a great opportunity to grow our community. People talk about, even in that housing this morning, people talk about low-income housing and the social issues that come with it. But also with the social issues that come with it, we get opportunity to build social programs from infrastructure money or the tax in lieu and stuff that comes from these mines that mine in our area. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to see who's going to be at the table on an MOU and get it finished because, at that point, again, it's Labrador. So what an opportunity to, as Yvonne Jones had said in her news release, get some kind of legacy fund for Labrador West so we can move ahead and get that infrastructure we didn't need, right? Because Labrador West, if I look at it now, I love Labrador West to the point, like, I want it to grow. So if I look at, even if you look at where the big land, and we have a bit of land, but a lot of it's, and we've known it for years, it's IOCs, and there's reserves on it. So at any given time, in 15 years' time, they had to move our ski hill a couple of years ago, the lifts, to mine that area. So some housing developed areas may have to move sometime. So for Labrador West now, we have one of the best highways in all of Newfoundland and Labrador. And I say it because it's new, I get it, because some people didn't get the money, but we got a brand new highway that goes one way, and we got another stretch of land that goes, highway that goes the other way, right to Quebec. there's no reason that Labrador West can't be the hub. So we need to start building, and we need to get the residents and the governments and everybody to understand we can now go between here and Goose Bay. In 30 years, can you imagine we're all connected to Goose Bay by homes and communities?
Yeah.
And to try to explain to people, how do you think Mount Pearl came? How do you get Gander and Grand Falls? Because everybody kept going. And that's the opportunity we have, and that's extremely exciting to be a part of. Looking forward to that.
I like our yearly chat. I appreciate you stopping in again.
No problem.
Also, get in touch anytime you want to talk about stuff. Just send me a note.
Sounds good.
Mayor Adams, thank you so much. I'll let you enjoy
Very
your
welcome.
lasagna now.
Okay.
See ya. Amy Cody, President MNL. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Adam? Thanks
know,
for coming back again.
Thank you. Oh, look, I'm so glad to be here. I looked down at my shoes. I looked back up, and there you are. All of a sudden, right in front of me. I was talking to Rob at the start, right? Election, looking at motivating. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind today?
Well, we have so much to talk about, of course. You know, we're dealing with tariffs, what that means to our municipalities. We're coming into a provincial election. We just came out of a federal election, and we have our municipal elections coming up on October 2nd. You know, our challenges are not lessening in our communities. We need some solid, strong, interested, hardworking people to step up and put their names forward to sit around our council tables. So important that we get those people in there. We're about to launch our Make Your Mark campaign. Next week is Municipal Awareness Week. So it's a prime opportunity for us to talk about the importance of being a member of municipal council, the value that you bring to your communities, and the importance of you sharing your ideas and your commitment to your communities around those council tables. So we're hoping that we'll have lots and lots of names on our ballots coming up on October 2nd.
All right. It's about the push to get people in, to get them, to find the folks who are interested, to get them in and get them on the ballots.
Absolutely.
What does Grand Falls Windsor, because you're councillor there, what does that community need, or what are the challenges it's facing right now?
Well, the same challenge that
the board, right?
everybody is facing is infrastructure deficits, the need to repair, add infrastructure, you know, anything from our pipes under the ground to our pavement, playgrounds, recreation facilities, town hall upgrades, you know, so many organizations within our communities who are looking for places to operate from. You know, Grand Falls Windsor always tries to provide space if it's available, multi-use of a lot of our town facilities to try and accommodate the best we can the needs of the organizations and the volunteer organizations who bring so much value to our communities. You know, they need safe spaces to be able to operate from, and we do our best to provide those spaces. But again, that's challenging. We're limited to what we have available. You know, we need to, you know, the cost of electricity for these facilities and buildings, upkeep and maintenance of those facilities. Our residents are constantly asking, you know, for different types of activities, different types of services. We can only go back to the well so many times. So, you know, the need for us to be able to increase revenue in our communities, increase our housing. But in order to do that, we need to have the infrastructure to back all of that up. So that's probably the biggest challenge that we face.
The best thing about Grand Falls Windsor?
We have a great council. You just, you know, set that one right up for me.
There you go, softball.
Look, we're perfectly centered. Yeah. We are an inclusive community. We have great ties to our community. We're a very historic community. Yeah. We are a diverse community. We've been through so many challenges, and we always come out on the other side stronger and more positive. So, you know, we just, it makes a difference that our residents are so committed to our community. Our town staff, all of our directors, and our council are committed to working together to make sure that we're consistently moving Grand Falls Windsor forward in a positive manner.
Thank you. As always, I enjoy checking in.
My pleasure.
I enjoy catching up. I know we'll be doing more with MNL with the municipal elections coming, and to talk about voting and who's running and all of that. But as always, thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam. We're always appreciative of you spending time with us. So thank you.
Cody,
take care.
I'm Adam Walsh. You are listening to The Signal live from the Quality Hotel in Gander at the 2025 Municipal Symposium. We're talking communities today with folks from right across the province. We're hearing about issues. We're hearing folks brag a bit about their communities as you're listening to us. If you've got thoughts from today's show or any show, give us an email, thesignal@cbc.ca. My main guest for today is MNL CEO. That's a couple acronyms buttoned together there, Rob Nolan. What, like we talked about off the top, right? Getting folks to run and all of that with the municipal elections coming. There's an agenda which I've thumbed through. What are some of the things, like when we have folks from across the province come here, what are some of the sessions that they're in with the important things that they're learning or talking about?
Yeah, so our symposium is 2.5 days chock full of sessions, plenary sessions, concurrent sessions. We try to put a professional development focus on the symposium as opposed to just being a little conference. This morning we had a presentation on Nunatsiavut government. So the Inuit community governments used to be municipalities. When Nunatsiavut was formed, they became the ICGs, but they were grandparented in. So those 5 Inuit community governments are members of our organization. So we kicked off the day talking about Nunatsiavut and Inuit community governments. We had a presentation this morning on fire services. Fire departments in Newfoundland and Labrador fall under municipal jurisdiction. So it's important for our municipal leaders to be aware of what's going on out there in the fire sector.
Gosh, yeah, from houses to highway safety to wildfires, you name it. Right?
Yeah,
it's a lot.
And the responsibilities are growing there.
Yeah.
This afternoon after lunch, we're going to be having a panel on navigating the economic uncertainty that's ongoing. I'm moderating that panel. Amy Cody, our president, will be on it. Anne-Marie Boudreau from Board of Trade is going to be on it. Stephen Short from Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Association, and Mark Janes from the provincial government. That's going to be an important conversation because we need to talk to our members about how is the ongoing international circumstances around trade and tariffs and all of that, how does that then translate down to the local level? So having conversations around that. We're having conversations around housing, we're having conversations around financial management in municipalities. And mixed into all of that is networking, because many of our members come from very small towns, as you know, Adam, and they don't get the opportunity to meet with their counterparts, their peers across the province, except for at our events. So we hear loud and clear from our members that they really enjoy and get a lot of value just out of the ability to talk to their peers, talk about common challenges, common solutions that they can come up with. So it's a busy 2.5 days, but a really productive one.
Well, I am now currently in the role of the Make Your Mark coordinator. So effectively, I am supporting all of the buzz around running for municipal elections, which are coming up on October the 2nd.
Chatted with Rob Nolan. Seems like there's a lot of effort going to be needed to get folks in and running because there's issues with acclamations, empty seats, all of that. Plus, it's what I think municipal leaders have to deal with sometimes from like some of the conversations I've already had here off air, right? Of just saying like a lot of folks, there can be abuse present, right? People have to deal with a lot. So how do you cut through all of that, and with the demographics, what they are in this province, to get people in to lead their communities into the future to hopefully grow and thrive and all of that when we're dealing with a different sort of a reality?
Well, and you make some very good points, and yes, it is challenging work, and for the most part, municipal councillors are volunteers, so there isn't a lot of remuneration associated with it. But really, you know, we're in a year where there's 3 elections, or there will be 2 more now, the provincial elections and then, of course, the municipal elections. But what I like to say is, you know, where democracy works the best, it's at the municipal level. You're not in partisan politics. It's easier to, you know, put your name on the ballot, and you know your community, you know your constituents, right? So all of those things are very important, and we need new voices around the table, and we need to retain voices that we have. And really the Make Your Mark campaign, which is launching now, and there will be a big ad campaign associated with it in the coming months, but this is about the message that there is a place for you here, and this is a place where you can also pursue the things that can better your community, the things you're passionate about, in a structure that will work and with a group of people, because that's what it's about. I'm asking people to tell me initially why they ran, you know, whether it's last municipal election or 30 years ago, and what do people say? Because I care about my community and I want to make a difference. And so that's the message for everyone. Do you care about your community? Do you want to make a difference? Well, come Put your name in the ballot and see what happens.
I find sometimes, and I think when you look at participation in elections, like on the local level, right, they're lower. The federal election obviously gets a lot of attention. The provincial election gets a lot of attention. And then I find people in some of my circles, and even myself when I was growing up, it'd be like, oh, municipal elections. But coming to these things and meeting people and hearing about the issues, I've learned so much more about the importance of that level of government. And it's always great to talk to you about how you're trying to motivate folks, why this is important, and then to meet folks here who are doing that work. So as always, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks very much. So folks, get out and vote. Vote often, vote early, and put your name in the ring for sure.
Perfect.
Now's the time.
All right, teacher, good to see you.
Good to see you all.
Hi, I'm Connie Reed.
Yep.
Town clerk manager with Town of Reedville, but I'm also the president of Professional Municipal Administrators.
Why are professional, can you say that title one more time so I can actually get it in my mouth?
Is Professional Municipal Administrators.
Professional Municipal Administrators. Why are they so important?
Oh my Lord, they're the backbone
How
of
long
any
do I have?
community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are
they're
they the backbone of any community?
Well, I mean, they are the people that do the actual work. You know, we have a 5 or 7 man council that they're all our bosses, and they're asking for tasks to be done, and it's left on the administrator. So, you know, and with town clerk role is changed considerably over the years, is no longer like the traditional administrative duties anymore. You don't have that, so it's very complex now because of legislation changes.
Yeah.
You know, we have a new act,
Yeah.
the Towns and Local Service District Act, which has brought much work to the towns. Most of our towns have one administrator in the office. You know, so, and these people are thrown in there. The turnover in our industry is really bad.
How long have you been doing this job?
16 years.
16 years.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've stayed.
I have a really good council, and I have a really good town. I was one of the fortunate ones that the previous clerk stayed and gave me a few weeks.
Oh, that massive.
Right?
importance.
But you don't have that anymore. So as an association, I took over presidency last year, and my platform was based on all training.
Yeah.
Training and the tools necessary for clerks to perform the jobs that they need to perform, because without it, they're just leaving. It's too hard.
And when people leave,
Right.
what does that mean for all the for the communities that have these absences?
Well, I mean, sometimes municipal affairs has to be brought in to try to run the town until they can hire somebody and have them trained adequately.
Yeah.
And most of these people are thrown in there, and, you know, fortunately we are a great association that we have a mentorship program, which means that any of these new or even seasoned administrators that have difficulties with any of the legislation, even just normal tasks, can call in and to our office. And we have 2 great ladies that run the office in there. And they take the name and they will match them with somebody that has had these issues before or excels in a certain portion of that. Right? So, yeah, it gives them an avenue to get some help.
Yeah, and this is something, because oftentimes here, I'll talk to mayors and councilors and stuff, and then it's like, oh wait, no, you're missing the most important people for the functioning of everything.
Right.
Yeah. I'm. Thanks for coming on to talk about this. And I know there's something else. There's a sheet of paper behind me. Let me pick it up.
Okay.
It's the. Can you tell me about this?
This is the Derek Bragg Leadership Award.
Right.
Anyone that was fortunate enough to know Derek knows that this award is very, very special. Sorry.
It's okay.
I can't even speak.
Derek Bragg from Greens Pond, right?
Oh my God,
You know,
he was a
hero
fellow
of the community.
He was a fellow administrator.
Yeah.
He was also the president of the Association of Professional Municipal Administrators, and then of course he went on to government. But he was certainly one of a kind, and his humor, his work ethic.
The
and,
respect for him, it's wild, right? Anyone I talk to, the respect that I hear about that man is a lot.
Oh, without a doubt. He was one of a kind. So with the Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs, we've come up with an award that will be given out at our fall forum in October. And we have a deadline for submission of May 16, 2025. So, and this award be granted annually to one recipient. It was a town clerk, town clerk manager, or chief administrative officer in good standing with PMA. So,
So here, let me see. D Bragg, so DBRAGG award, AWARD, at gov.nl.ca.
yes.
There we go.
Yeah, and we would love to have nominations because we know that there's some fabulous, fabulous administrators out there. And we know everybody, anybody that does this job deserves an award, but.
Before I let you go, last question, not a hard one.
Okay.
Tell me something great about your community.
My community?
Yes, yeah.
We're a little tiny community, but we're nestled on the banks of the Humber River.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. We have a beautiful walking trail. We have a seniors group, which does a lot of like the yoga and So yeah, we're very inclusive and very close, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thanks for coming on the show, and thanks for talking about Doug Bragg and this leadership award.
Thank you so much.
I can't see you later.
Thanks.
Okay, Alexis Foster, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
So last time you were on the show, we were talking about building homes.
We were.
Because you had a different job then, and now you got a new one now. Talk about your new job.
I do. So I'm now the Director of Advocacy and Communications for MNL. So I'm very excited. I'm only a week into the job, so definitely
will
jumping
not
in
ask you
feet
hard
first.
questions.
Excellent. Glad to hear.
But when it comes to advocacy, what are you learning about advocacy for this gig, and what the priorities are for MNL?
Well, so we're really listening to our municipalities. What are issues? How do they apply to our strategic plan? How can we help move forward things that are actually important to all of our communities across the province? So we've been fortunate to have several wins in the last little while, like some training for firefighters. So it's phenomenal to actually see the advocacy in action and to see some things actually coming to fruition from some of our work.
What have you, so since this started, what have you been at today, or what have you been at in terms of thinking, well, this was interesting, or what are you looking forward to?
Well, we just had lunch, so that was great.
Yeah.
The parfaits has been talked about quite a
parfaits
bit.
are back still?
Apparently they're
Oh my
back.
gosh, all right.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it was great to experience that. But there's a lot of great learning sessions going on here. So just really immersing myself in what are the municipal issues, what is going on in the sector, how can we help support them, because supporting our community supports our residents at the end of the day, which is vital to our province.
Excellent. I will grill you no more. I just wanted to say hi. Congrats on the gig. We will be talking more,
Yes.
of course. And thanks for coming back on the show in your new role.
Oh, thanks for having me, Adam.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about collaboration, certainly between municipalities and businesses. I'm here, kind of representing the voice of business and the perspective of businesses that operate throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. But working with municipalities, ensuring that municipal leaders are informed about the reality of what it's like to run a business right now, I think is really important. And also, when we think about the economic times that we find ourselves in, businesses are up against a lot of pressures and a lot of challenges, as are municipalities. So this is a great moment to come together, share that perspective and understanding, so that there's probably things that we can be doing, that municipalities can certainly be doing to support businesses when we think of things like procurement, and policies around spending locally. In the climate, I think that we exist in now, Adam, it's really important to be thoughtful. That's from a consumer perspective. Municipalities are massive consumers in Newfoundland and Labrador, so kind of having that conversation about the role municipalities can play in creating an environment that's supportive for business, but also in real policy development pieces of how they, as entities and purchasers, can support businesses throughout Newfoundland and Labrador.
It's coming down to that procurement bit, right? Because we've talked about this on the show before.
We have.
Looking at we talked the federal government, the provincial government, and I don't think we did talk about municipalities and procurement last time. Didn't even think about it, but if you look at Newfoundland and Labrador, all the communities with some I know people talk about communities not having a lot of money, but there is money for procurement, especially if you're thinking buy local, and instead of looking outside of the province or outside of the country even, for some of the spending to be done.
Yeah, there absolutely. If you think about the purchasing power of municipalities inside Newfoundland and Labrador, it is massive. There's also the climate that we find ourselves in right now, given tariffs and the uncertainty, and spending locally. And locally can be in our local communities, locally can mean throughout Newfoundland and Labrador, locally can also mean just spending in Canada.
Yeah, Atlantic Canada and
and
rest of
beyond.
Canada.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thinking about, having this discussion with municipalities and reminding them of the power that they have to direct those dollars and be really thoughtful, and to be a huge supporter of local businesses.
Thanks for stopping in. I'll let you go get prepped for your thing now. And you had your lunch. Did you have your lasagna?
I did not.
You did not? Oh my
No.
gosh. Okay, well, apparently the parfait is supposed to be amazing. So
Okay.
just leave that with you.
I'll check that
thanks
out.
for coming back on the
Thanks,
show.
Adam.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Anne-Marie Boudreau, folks from the Board of Trade. Mayor Parsons,
What's
how you
happening?
doing? Hanging out, talking on the radio.
Yeah?
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
I'm appreciative.
All right, so simple questions for folks.
Yep.
I'm asking, I start with challenges.
Yeah.
So tell us about a couple challenges, and then we'll turn the corner
Let
into
me
something more
see.
positive.
Well, I would say the biggest challenge we have in City Corner Brook, and it's been a challenge for quite a while, wastewater treatment.
Yeah.
We've been applying for money for wastewater treatment for, well, we've got $15 million saved up in our sewer levy to fund a new development. So we're ready to go.
Yeah.
We think a project like that's going to cost us about $120 million probably.
How many million?
120.
120 million.
Yeah, so the existing funding programs, which we've been pursuing for years, they just don't cut it. So we're going to have to get a side deal done of some sort to make that happen. We're willing to get it done, but finding the help from the province and the feds, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Municipalities, we're fully funded. We run balance books on operating funds, but when it comes to capital, we need help. And that's the only place we need help. So trying to figure out capital is always the biggest challenge. Funding programs, we were just discussing it back there. That's the big topic of discussion amongst us all the time when we come to these events. How to get more certainty on how you get some capital money. We'd be happy to finance things, and we have that ability as a bigger municipality, but getting some certainty on programs from the feds and the province is tough.
Yeah. What's the best part about Corner Brook?
The best part?
Yeah, your favorite thing in Corner
Oh my
Brook
God.
for you, for Mayor Jim Parsons.
The most exciting thing right now is our new aquatic center, the Marina Redmond Center.
Yes.
So we're about to open that. So we did our naming ceremony a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Naming after Marina Redmond, our longtime clerk.
Yeah.
Very avid amateur athlete, community builder. That opens up on May 24th, and that's a beautiful new modern aquatics facility with a pool and a leisure pool and a slide and all that stuff, gymnasium, fitness center, and a daycare.
And a daycare.
And it's all,
Spy.
it's a city-run facility. It's right in the back of Grenville campus of Memorial University.
Yeah.
And that is our super exciting thing. But today, as I was coming out, I realized it's May 1st. May 1st is opening up of the ATV season here in Corner Brook as well.
Yeah.
And that has been a huge success for our city. So this year, every year, we look at tweaking the rules a little bit, opening up different corridors in different parts of town, opening up more options for residents to get permits, to get from their home to the trail systems.
Right.
So this year we've added a new route for a lot of the West End residents to go right from Pinkston up around the top of Elizabeth, that area, the West End of town, all right down through Mount Bernard. And so it's, it's whenever I think see ATVs on the road, they go right past my office on Main Street. I think cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I see the hotels full of through tourists, but also I see residents out enjoying summer, which is absolutely beautiful in Corner Brook.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're pretty much out of time.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks for the chat. And
appreciate it.
I will be in touch, sir, but thank you very much.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
All right, see you.
Okay,
see you,
bye.
Mayor Parsons. All right, folks, we're just going to have Rob Nolan come over for one last little thing here before we wrap up. Final thought for today, sir, before we go?
One, thanks for always being here.
Yeah.
I've been talking to you and Dave about how important it is to get the stories of our communities out.
Yeah.
And most of the people you've talked to today aren't going to be able to come into the St. John's studio very easily.
Yeah.
So this is really wonderful to have you on site and talking, to our community leaders. And thanks to all of our members, all of our partners, all of our sponsors for making this happen. I'm sure everyone listening can hear the hustle and bustle behind me right now.
Oh, it's just getting sweet here now. Everyone's
Yeah.
piling out after lunch.
Some beautiful white noise
This is
behind
great.
us right
Yeah,
now,
this
so
is
everyone's-
radio magic right now.
Yeah, they had their parfaits and they're ready to go for the afternoon. So this is the kind of excitement that you're hearing.
This is
at
what
our
you hear
event.
of people across Newfoundland and Labrador on a parfait sugar high, is what this is. All right, thanks again. And I always like being here, so I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Tomorrow on the show, by the way, no news headlines. I mean, we'll do the news, that's before me, but after that, no news headlines, no seriousness. It's just trivia day. We're taking a little pause. Hitting the pause button. John Gushu will be by. We got some books to give away, so you don't want to miss that.